Right, welcome back to the channel. So finally, I've made some progress with the solar powered Meshtastic summer house shed type thing, and it's been a bit of an adventure. It really has. From putting the solar panels on the roof, to the wiring, to making the internet work, to making the whole thing work, it's been more tricky than I thought, but that's not a bad thing. So where do you start? Well, a couple of things just to mention at the start of this is that everything that's here that has gone into building this Meshtastic solar shed, I've literally bought and paid for myself. So it's sponsored by no one. Yes, we're the RAK dealers. Unfortunately, this isn't a RAK, but it will be a RAKwireless Meshtastic device. The only thing that we've borrowed, or I've borrowed, is the Ecoflow battery. So this is going to talk about the Ecoflow battery, the solar system, the Supernode, Meshtastic, and all that kind of stuff like that. And most importantly, what's going on here, which is map the mesh. Because we don't like MQTT, we like to see real data from RF from real nodes, which is what we're trying to do. So where did it start? So, solar panels on the roof, myself and Neil put them up there. Amazon brackets, bolted them straight on the roof. City plumbing, 65 quid a piece. Chucked them on the roof. They were not in an ideal position, but you know what? This was an experiment. That's the first thing that went up. That was quite simple, okay? After that, I purchased this, which is the Ecoflow Power Stream. Now, the Ecoflow Power Stream is basically a small inverter, and everyone should have these. They just should. And essentially, everywhere in Europe, you can just plug it straight in a 3-pin socket. I have 2 solar panels, and the 2 solar panels are run into the mains and just give your house a bit of a boost. You can add a battery later if you want to, but if your house is using 600 watts during the day, like my house is, this is currently supplying 300 of those watts. If you then add a battery to it, this can then be prioritised to charge the house and run the house with no batteries, just helping the house with the load, or it can be charging a battery. We borrowed this big Ecoflow battery, 2 kilowatts, because I wanted to prioritize charging the battery so this place could run and run the node and map the mesh and everything else. And also when it got full, as it's doing right now, it could also stick the power in the house, saving electricity. Ecoflow Power Stream is an amazing bit of kit. They're like literally £100. Yes, we're also an Ecoflow dealer, but they're really good. The downside for this country, the only downside, and the whole reason this video has taken quite a while to do, is because in the UK, we can't plug it into a main socket. We're not allowed because of some silly regulations. And I know a lot of people are doing that on the Ecoflow website anyway, but technically you're not allowed to, which meant that essentially to make all this work, to have an electrician in and run power in here, which is done. This is done by AC Electrical. And again, I can show you the receipt. It wasn't free, I'm not promoting them, but they did do a good job, to be fair. RCD, armoured cable, runs in the house, done. The Ecoflow Power Stream then, the solar panels go into the power stream, another cable comes out and goes to the battery, and another cable is wired in here. So the excess power goes back in the house. I've got to like the Ecoflow Power Stream system a lot. I'll show you the little software in a little bit. And connects to the internet and you can watch it anywhere. But the Power Stream system, if you've got a balcony and solar panels or whatever, it can just top up your house load. And it doesn't cost, well, £20,000 for batteries and solar. It's not going to cover your hot tub, but you know, 20-30% of it, depending on how many panels you've got, it runs. It'll do 800 watts max. This, for me, in the current climate, is brilliant. I just think it's an amazing device, and I've said to so many people, you need to get one of these and a couple of cheap solar panels, and then your base load of your house, your 600 watts, 800 watts, whatever, this is going to help. Battery storage is expensive, you can add it later, but why would I not cut the price in half? Ecoflow Power Stream. It's a great device. They also do another one, which I've not seen, but I have seen people talk about. Little device, exactly the same sort of size. It's only small, it's only this. And it connects to the alternator for camper vans, so you can charge the batteries in camper vans and stuff like that. And it makes big power. Don't ask me how it works. Science, no idea. So that's that. Power's now in here. You'll notice, yes, I am using sockets, but I'm using sockets because I'm trying to understand how much power is needed in here to see how much solar is going to run it versus the battery and so on and so on. So I'm still experimenting, okay? What else is going on in here? So this, which I'm going to show you, that's going in chaos mode, is map the mesh. Now the super node is still over here, okay, and it's basically a filtered node. This is going to go outside. I've not worked out how yet because it's a big white antenna and it's a bit of an eyesore according to the wife. It's going to get replaced because we've got a really nice new solar node, super node, not really solar, and essentially it's going to go on a pole and it's going to get hidden somehow outside, and it's going to have an extra filter. It's a rack, it's done, it just needs Ben to do a little tweaking because I may have killed it. But we'll come to that. But it's running and it's operational. So what else? Raspberry Pi, built by Alan, who did the Map the Mesh, who built that for me because my knowledge of Raspberry Pis is absolutely nothing. And it was just way too complex. But I wanted a piece of software that essentially did mapping but did it as if you were looking at it through a RF perspective and not MQTT. Couldn't really trust the software within Meshtastic. It was a bit hit and miss, and I wanted something that after a day that node would disappear because it had not been seen under RF conditions. Now this does exactly that. So as it's going through, it's giving me all the information about my node, its channel utilization, and all the stuff you can do on your phone, but it's running in kiosk mode. I can log into this anywhere on the planet and see how well this node is doing. If the node's not been seen for 24 hours, it's gone, okay? And I can see all the data about it. These different colors that are going on here with the pins show if they're red, bear in mind colorblind, think it's red, then essentially that node has not really been seen in 24 hours. If it's orange, then basically it's a live node, and it works really well. And then I get a full list of all the nodes, last seen, altitude, location, long name, short name, and the identification of the node. I'm going to take you over there in a few minutes and actually show you this on a big screen so you can see it and you can try it yourself. I'm also going to set it up at the airport as well so I can actually have a live RF node map. Now I know a few people are doing this. This is, for me, is a game changer because I can see real world data from RF, okay, not from the internet. So that's what's running on here. Yes, I stole the bracket and the keyboard and the mouse, and he's running on here. I am going to actually connect this Pi to this socket which goes into the house and run it through LAN because we had sketchy problems with the Wi-Fi, like really sketchy. So that's where we're up to. I've got some cable management to do, yes, and I've also got to see how much stuff I can run from this battery and the balance of how much can run from the battery versus how much can run from the house, and so on and so on. Because the whole idea is that the super node, Map the Mesh, the monitor, and anything else I want to run in here essentially can run completely power free, purely from the sun, captured by the battery, which amazingly today is running 99%, and that's because it's full and I'm now dumping, I think it's about 150 watts in the main supply for the house. That's the power stream doing its thing, also powering the super node, monitor, and if you're wondering what he is down here, this is train track R. I've got one of these actually in the office, you've probably seen it on videos. This is actually showing cloud cover, so I can walk in here if I'm completely blind and don't look up at the clouds and see what cloud coverage is going on. That's cool, isn't it? Super node in a shed. It works. So we should go over and see the software, but before I do that, let's pick you up and take you a bit closer so you can have a look at what's going on here. So, power supply, Wi-Fi, Ecoflow smart plug. Now the smart plug essentially is me monitoring, in this case, the Pi to see how much power the Pi is taking in watts, because I'm trying to make sure my battery doesn't deplete and this thing keeps running. I can set a reserve on the battery so it never runs out. There you go. And if you look at this occasionally, I am losing connection because this is a power over Ethernet plug and it keeps losing connection. I'm going to fix that. I'm just going to LAN cable it, but I just didn't get to that. I was too busy tidying up this place. Because it is a shed after all. And it's come back alive again. So there you go. There's the setup. There's the power stream. There's Map the Mesh. There's the wiring in. Over here, unfortunately, that is still the node which is up against the wall. That's Enzo. And I'm going to run the whole thing. I'm going to put it outside. I'm going to have a little bit of LMR 400 and put it outside. I need to do that. just because I needed a bit more height. But there you go, there's the update. Let's go over and have a look at the software so I can show you Map the Mesh and how it actually works. Now you can be a part of it yourself. Let's go and have a look. Right, welcome back. Let's have a look at what's going on. So back in the studio, and apologies for the really naff camera. This is my webcam because my other cam has decided to just check out for the day. As reliable as a Altec on a 9-volt battery. Too soon. Let's go and have a look at Map the Mesh. Right, okay, here we go. So when you do the Map the Mesh, this is what you first presented with. And I said to Alan that he needs to make it absolutely bomb-proof because, well, it's me that's driving it. So when you present it with a dashboard, all the nodes you're going to see are all the good meat, all down here. At the moment, only the super node XMSN is connected to it. You can see the firmware that's running 2315 because that's what we're currently recommending because, well, it works. Nodes in the mesh 60, that's how many it can see, and offline nodes 32. So in other words, I have my set to essentially so that if it's older than 24 hours, it just doesn't appear. Or if it does appear, it appears as a red dot. You can see the hardware that's connected to it also, the Heltec V3. And it was last updated 4 minutes ago. I have mine updating every 15 minutes because I like to just keep an eye on what's going on. So we click over here, as a bit of a think about it, and then a few bits of information kind of shared here. So this is my approximate location, which isn't showing exactly where it is right now because I haven't set up the node properly. That's my fault. Battery level 101% because it's a Heltec. The voltage it's running, channel utilization, air utilization on the transmit, and then how long it's been up for. My node number, the user ID, the firmware version, what role it's in. You should be in client or client mute or router if you're on the top of a skyscraper. The fact is a Heltec, the MAC address, the long name, and the short name. Now, this is also showing me here my local mesh, 60 nodes, currently offline 32. That's because 32 of them have not been seen for the last 24 hours. In sense? Good. Also, I can export the config from the node as well to get all the data of it. This is really useful. It's something that Alan put in that I didn't even know about, to be fair. But it is actually good for checking all my data and to make sure it's solid. This QR code here is the share code for the channel. I don't understand that yet. You need to go over to our Discord and have a look at it to ask Alan lots of questions about how it works. But what I'm interested in is this. Okay. So essentially, this is the map of kind of what's going on. Okay. And if I zoom in, I can currently see, using the legend here, offline for too long, 24 hours. My node's not currently displaying because I've not set it up yet. And nodes I have seen. So if I click on one of these here, it gives me the data, the node ID, the name, the short name, what hardware it is, what mode it's in, signal noise ratio, that's handy, pops away, and then the last heard as well. So if I pick somebody different, Murph Base Guzner, he's literally always on the go. That's a LilyGo T-Beam S3 in client mode. It's 3 hops away and it was last seen 15 minutes ago. So it's live, right? So it's real data because it is literally live, which is what we want to see. So from that, I can see all the nodes that it's seen in the last 24 hours. And I'm using RF, right? I'm not using MQTT, which I like a lot. I can change the map into different versions of Google Satellite, Hybrid, etc. Now, if I'm planning my network, then the idea is that I can see how much of my network is live, what was seen in the last 24 hours, and so on and so on. This is really handy. And as I say, it's all running through RF. I'm also going to put another Map the Mesh device up at the airport where our main base is. I'm going to run that as well, just so I can see from an RF point of view exactly what's getting where and when it's been seen in every 24 hours. More people who join this, more people who can really see how often it's been seen, rather than just having a massive node list with pointless details in it. I know what's current, I know what's outside of 24 hours. Moving down here, this is the node list. So essentially, this is the node I'm coming out of, the super node, which is all previously. When it was last heard, short name, long name, altitude if it knows it, and the location again if it knows it. See, I've not set it. Sorry, Alan, I've not said it. If you find something that you have actually is live, it'll have this show bit over here. It was last seen 13 minutes ago. It's longitude, latitude, and so on. This is the phalanx node. This is the one inside the Chrome sort of dome thing. And if I click on it, it will literally take me to it. It's clever, isn't it? So there's my node list. Now, if you want to be a part of this, or you want to add suggestions or different things that can be seen in the node, or node, I should say, then join our Discord. There's a separate section called Project Map the Mesh, and give Alan some suggestions of exactly what you want to see in the software. I like the fact it's real data. The summer house is obviously running it in kiosk mode, so it just changes from screen to screen to screen, but I can literally see what's going on all the time. And I can see how far I'm getting. Where I'm getting to. It's good, isn't it? Clever stuff, this. So that's Map the Mesh. You need to join our Discord, speak to Alan, look at the section called Project Map the Mesh, and have a look at this. He's updating it all the time, right? So you can actually see what's where. All the nodes of the Blackpool network are all running 2.3.15 because we know it works. 2.4 series, as Josh Bennett said, is fundamentally broken, and 2.5 series doesn't pick up with nodes as well. I recently did a trip to London and all the way back with two nodes in the car, identical setups, and essentially I had about 112 nodes that were seen on the way down there and on the way back. And version 252, the latest alpha, which is an alpha, to be fair, only got about 25. So the whole Blackpool network, of which I have about 15 nodes between Fleetwood and St. Anne's, is all going to go 2.3.15 because, well, we know it captures a lot better. So there you have it. This webcam is ropey, isn't it? The camera's really not well. That's Map the Mesh. That's the solar shed, powered by Ecoflow and the Power Stream and the whole thing. We're going to keep upgrading it and keep kind of going from there and keep adding things to it. I'm going to put some lighting in there and stuff. And I want it all to be powered by the solar, including the supernode when it goes outside with the LMR 400 able and to attach it to the roof or whatever. And the upgrade, obviously, to the rack super filter node. Say any more than that. So don't forget to join our community map, which is over here, because this is the one where people are putting their own maps, their own nodes on our map. So map.empower247.com, and obviously don't forget the store, empower247.com, and join our Discord. If you're looking to link to the Discord or get to the Discord page, it's on the empower247.com website. Again, thanks for watching. I will keep upgrading. I've got to do some cable management and tidy it up, and the software Map the Mesh will keep developing as it goes. So again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep a look at our store. We are the rack dealers for the UK, and things are going really well actually. Thanks for watching.